An American billionaire CEO falls in love with a black African woman after visiting Nigeria. This is the story of Jacob and Kate, a billionaire who's never known love and a woman who's never needed anyone else's strength. Will they find a way to bridge their worlds, or will the weight of their differences tear them apart? If this is your first time here, welcome. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Feel free to share it with your friends and family, and let us know in the comments where you're watching from. Over the next few days, their bond grows through small, shared moments. Jacob brings Kate coffee from a nearby vendor, learning how she likes it, strong, with a touch of sugar. Kate teaches him how to string a simple bracelet, laughing when his large hands fumble with the tiny beads. They talk about everything and nothing. Her favorite Nollywood movies, his failed attempts at cooking, the way the market feels like a living, breathing thing. Each moment chips away at the walls they've both built, revealing glimpses of who they are beneath the surface. One day, Jacob invites Kate to dinner at a small restaurant near the market. She hesitates, knowing it's a step beyond their market talks, but something in her wants to say yes. She agrees, but only if it's somewhere local, not one of the fancy places he's used to. They end up at a roadside spot, eating suya and drinking cold bottles of Star beer. The setting is simple, but the night feels special. They talk for hours, and Kate finds herself opening up about her dreams of opening a small shop, of creating jewelry that tells the stories of her people. Jacob listens, his heart aching with a feeling he's not ready to name. "You could do it, Kate," he says. "You've got the talent, the drive. I could help." "No," Kate cuts him off, her voice firm but not unkind. "I don't want your money, Jacob. I want to do this on my own." He nods, respecting her boundaries, but he can't help but admire her even more. She's not like anyone he's ever known. Fierce, independent, and unafraid to stand her ground. For the first time, he's starting to see a future that's not just about his company or his wealth, but about something real, something human. Kate, too, is feeling the shift. She spent so long protecting herself, but Jacob's presence is starting to feel like a safe place. He's not perfect. He's still too quick to offer solutions, too used to his privileged world, but he's trying. And that effort, that willingness to meet her where she is, means more than she can say. As they walk back to the market, their hands brush, and neither pulls away. It's a small gesture, but it feels like a promise. They're not there yet, not in love, not even close, but they're building something, piece by piece, moment by moment. The gap between their worlds is still there, but for now, it feels a little less impossible. The Lagos air is heavy with the promise of rain as Kate, Ben, and Jacob Lewis walk side by side through a quiet street near the market. It's been 2 months since their first tense encounter, and their connection has grown into something neither of them expected. They've spent evenings talking over suya, mornings laughing as Kate teaches Jacob to haggle with vendors, and stolen moments where their hands linger a little too long. Kate's walls are still up, but they're crumbling, and Jacob feels closer to her than he's ever felt to anyone. But beneath the surface, a storm is brewing, one that will test the fragile bond they've built. Jacob is leaving Nigeria in a week. His business dealings are wrapping up, and Lewis's Crunch is set to launch a new factory in Lagos. He's accomplished what he came for, but the thought of leaving Kate behind twists something deep in his chest. He hasn't told her yet, not wanting to ruin the moments they've shared. Tonight, though, he knows he can't keep it a secret any longer. They're sitting on a bench outside a small cafe, the city's noise a soft hum around them. Kate is telling him about her latest jewelry design, her eyes bright with passion, when Jacob interrupts. "Kate," he says, his voice quieter than usual. "There's something I need to tell you." She pauses, sensing the shift in his tone. "What is it?" she asks, her smile fading. Jacob takes a deep breath, his hands clasped tightly in his lap. "I'm leaving next week. Back to New York. The deal here is done and I have to go." Kate's face goes still, her eyes searching his. For a moment, she doesn't speak, and the silence feels heavier than the humid air. "So that's it," she says finally, her voice low but sharp. "You come here, play at being part of my world, and then you just leave?" "It's not like that," Jacob says quickly, leaning toward her. "This isn't about playing, Kate. You mean something to me. You know that." "Do I?" Kate's voice rises, her eyes flashing with a mix of hurt and anger. "Because it sounds like I'm just a stop on your business trip. A little adventure before you go back to your real life." Jacob flinches, her words cutting deeper than he expected. "That's not fair," he says. "I've been honest with you. I care about you more than I've ever cared about anyone. But my life, my company, it's in New York. I can't just walk away from that." Kate stands, crossing her arms as she looks down at him. "And I can't walk away from my life either, Jacob. My family, my work, my home, it's all here. You think I can just follow you to your fancy world? You think I want to?" "I'm not asking you to," Jacob says, standing too, his voice pleading. I don't want to lose this. Lose you. We can figure it out. Visits, calls, something." Kate laughs, but it's a bitter sound. "You don't get it, do you? You think this is about logistics? It's about who we are. You're a billionaire, Jacob. You live in a world where you can buy solutions. I live in a world where I fight for every single thing I have. We're not the same, and pretending otherwise is just setting us up for pain." Jacob steps closer, his voice urgent. "I'm not pretending, Kate. I know we're different. I know I don't fit here, and you don't fit in my world. But what we have, it's real. You feel it too, don't you?" Kate's eyes glisten, but she blinks back the tears. "What I feel doesn't change the truth," she says. "You're leaving and I'm staying. That's the end of it." She turns to walk away, but Jacob grabs her hand, his grip gentle but firm. "Kate, please. Don't do this. We can find a way." She pulls her hand free, her voice shaking. "There's no way, Jacob. Not when you've been keeping secrets." Jacob freezes, his heart sinking. "What are you talking about?" Kate's jaw tightens, and she looks at him with a mix of hurt and betrayal. "I heard about your company's plans. The factory you're building, it's going to take land from villages like mine. People are already talking about it, about how Lewis's Crunch is buying up their homes for pennies. Did you think I wouldn't find out?" Jacob's face pales. He knew about the land deals, but he didn't know they involved villages like Kate's. His team handled the negotiations, assuring him it was all above board. But now, standing in front of Kate, he sees the truth in her eyes, the pain of people losing their homes, their history, to make way for his empire. "Kate, I didn't know," he says, his voice breaking. "I swear, I didn't know it was your village." "But you didn't ask, did you?" Kate snaps, her voice trembling with anger. "You didn't care enough to find out who was paying the price for your success. That's the problem, Jacob. You move through the world like it's yours to take, and people like me are just collateral damage. Jacob feels like he's been punched. He wants to defend himself, to explain that he's not the one making every decision, that he trusted his team. But he knows it won't matter. To Kate, he's the face of the company, the man responsible for the pain she's feeling. And deep down, he knows she's right. He didn't ask, didn't dig deeper, because it was easier not to. Kate, I'll fix this, he says, his voice desperate. I'll stop the deal, renegotiate whatever it takes. Just don't walk away. Kate shakes her head, tears spilling down her cheeks now. It's not just about the land, Jacob. It's about trust. I let you in against everything I know, and you kept this from me. You let me believe you were different, but you're just like the rest of them. Her words hit him like a blade, and he feels the weight of his own failures. He spent his life building walls to keep people out, but Kate got through, and now he's losing her because of his own blindness. Kate, please, he says, his voice barely above a whisper. I love you. The words slip out before he can stop them, raw and unfiltered. It's the first time he's said them to anyone, and they hang in the air, fragile and heavy. Kate freezes, her breath catching. For a moment, her eyes soften, and he thinks she might stay. But then her expression hardens, and she takes a step back. Don't, she says, her voice breaking. Don't say that when you don't even know what it means. Love doesn't destroy people's homes. Love doesn't hide the truth. She turns and walks away, her steps quick and determined. Jacob stands there, watching her disappear into the crowd, his heart pounding with a pain he's never known. He wants to run after her, to beg her to stay, but he knows it's no use. Not now. Not when he's betrayed her trust, even if he didn't mean to. As the first drops of rain begin to fall, Jacob is left alone, the weight of his choices crashing down on him. He spent his life building an empire, but now he sees the cost, not just to Kate, but to himself. He's fallen in love with her, and in doing so, he's opened himself up to a vulnerability he's never allowed before. But it might be too late. Kate, meanwhile, walks through the rain, her tears mixing with the drops on her face. She let Jacob in, let herself believe he could be different, and now she feels like a fool. The secret about the factory, the land, her village, it's not just a betrayal, it's a reminder of the gap between their worlds. She's always known they were different, but she let herself hope, and now that hope is breaking her heart. This is the moment everything changes. The rain pours down on Lagos, turning the streets into rivers of mud and reflecting the city's lights in blurred streaks. Kate Ben walks alone, her clothes soaked, her heart heavy with the weight of Jacob Lewis's betrayal. The words he spoke, I love you, echo in her mind, but they're drowned out by the sting of his secret. His company's plan to take land from villages like hers feels like a personal wound, a reminder that he comes from a world that values profit over people. She let him in, let herself believe he was different, and now she's paying the price. Her steps are heavy as she heads home, determined to shut him out for good. Across the city, Jacob sits in his hotel room, the glow of his laptop screen casting shadows on his face. He's canceled his meetings for the day, unable to focus on anything but Kate's tear-streaked face and the way she walked away. Her words haunt him, love doesn't hide the truth. He's spent his life avoiding emotional messes, but this one has him unraveling. He loves her. He meant it when he said it, but he's starting to see how his actions, or lack of them, have hurt her. The land deal, the factory, the casual way he let his team handle it without questioning. It's all evidence of the gap between their worlds, and he's not sure how to bridge it. Kate reaches her family's small home, the familiar creak of the door greeting her as she steps inside. Her mother, Mama Gozi, is stirring a pot of egusi soup, and her brother, Henry, is hunched over his books. They look up, sensing her mood immediately. "Kate, what's wrong?" Mama Gozi asks, her voice soft but firm. "You look like you've seen a ghost." Kate forces a smile, wiping the rain from her face. "It's nothing, Mama. Just a long day." But Mama Gozi isn't fooled. She sets down her spoon and pulls Kate into a chair. "Talk to me, my daughter. You don't carry this kind of weight for nothing." Kate hesitates, her throat tight. She hasn't told her family much about Jacob, only that she's been talking to an American from the market. But now, with the truth laid bare, she can't hold it in. She tells them everything about Jacob, their growing connection, his confession of love, and the betrayal of his company's land deal. Her voice cracks as she talks about her village, the place where she grew up, now at risk because of him. Mama Gozi listens quietly, her eyes filled with understanding. When Kate finishes, she takes her daughter's hand. "You opened your heart, Kate. That's not weakness. But you must protect it too. This man, he may care for you, but his world is not ours. Be careful." Kate nods, tears brimming again. "I thought he was different, Mama. I thought maybe he could be part of my life. But I was wrong." Henry, who's been silent, speaks up. "If he really loves you, he'll prove it. Not with words, but with what he does. You deserve that, Kate." Her brother's words linger as she lies in bed that night, staring at the cracked ceiling. She wants to believe Jacob could change, could make things right, but the hurt is too fresh. She's spent her life fighting to stand tall, and letting him back in feels like risking everything she's built. She resolves to move forward, to focus on her family and her work, and to leave Jacob behind. Meanwhile, Jacob is spiraling. He's called his team, demanding details about the land deal. They confirm what Kate said. The factory site includes land from several villages, bought at low prices from local officials. The villagers, including those in Kate's hometown, were offered minimal compensation, and some are already being displaced. Jacob feels sick, realizing how blind he's been. He's always trusted his team to handle the details, but now he sees the human cost of his ambition. And the cost to Kate, the one person who's made him feel alive in years. He tries to call her, but her phone is off. He sends messages, each one more desperate than the last. "Kate, please, let me explain. I didn't know. I'm going to fix this." But there's no reply. He paces his hotel room, the city's lights mocking him through the window. He's used to solving problems with strategy, with money, but this isn't a business deal. It's personal, and he's out of his depth. The next day, Jacob goes to the market, hoping to find Kate. Her stall is empty, the colorful cloth folded neatly, her jewelry gone. A vendor nearby tells him she's taken the day off. Jacob's heart sinks. He's losing her, and it's his fault. He spends the day driving to her neighborhood, asking around, but no one will tell him where she is. They see his expensive car, his foreign face, and their lips tighten. He's an outsider here, and Kate's community protects its own. Kate, meanwhile, is at her village, a few hours from Lagos. She needed to see it, to walk the dirt paths where she played as a child, to feel the ground that might soon be bulldozed for Jacob's factory. The village is quiet, but there's a tension in the air. Rumors of the land deal have spread, and people are scared. Kate sits with her childhood friend, Amaka, who tells her about families being offered small payments to leave their homes. "It's not right, Kate," Amaka says, her voice shaking. "This is our home, our history, and they think they can just take it?" Kate's jaw tightens, her anger flaring anew. "I know someone involved," she says, her voice low. "I thought he was different. But he's part of this." Amaka looks at her, eyes wide. "The American? Kate, what are you going to do?" "I don't know," Kate admits. "I thought I could trust him, but now I just want to protect our people." Back in Lagos, Jacob is falling apart. He's canceled his flight to New York, unable to leave until he makes things right. He meets with his team, demanding they halt the land deal. His executives push back, warning him about lost profits and investor backlash, but Jacob doesn't care. For the first time, he's thinking beyond his company, beyond himself. He tells them to renegotiate, to offer fair compensation or find a new site. But he knows it's not enough, not for Kate, not for the trust he's broken. Days pass, and the distance between them grows. Kate throws herself into her work, selling her jewelry with a fierceness that hides her pain. She avoids the market on days she thinks Jacob might show up, unable to face him. Her heart aches for the moments they shared, the laughter, the quiet talks, the way he made her feel seen. But every time she thinks of him, she sees her village, her people, and the betrayal cuts deeper. Jacob, too, is haunted by their memories. He walks through the market, hoping for a glimpse of her, but she's nowhere. He visits the cafe where they ate suya, the bench where they watched the sunset, each place a reminder of what he's lost. He's never felt this kind of pain, not when his parents split, not when he built his empire alone. Kate showed him what it means to feel, to love, and now that she's gone, he's left with an emptiness he can't fill. One night, Kate sits with her mother, her head resting on Mama Gozi's shoulder. "I thought I could have something more," she says, her voice barely audible. "But I was wrong." Mama Gozi strokes her hair. "You weren't wrong to hope, Kate. You were brave. But sometimes, love asks us to let go, even when it hurts." Kate nods, but the words don't ease the ache. She's shut Jacob out, but she can't shut out the part of her that still loves him, despite everything. Jacob, alone in his hotel, stares at a bracelet he bought from Kate weeks ago. It's simple, blue and gold, made for her father. He holds it like it's the only piece of her he has left. He knows he's lost her trust, maybe forever, but he can't let go. Not yet. Not when he's finally found something worth fighting for. The Lagos sky is clear, the morning sun casting a golden glow over the city. Kate Ben is back at her market stall, her hands steady as she arranges her jewelry, but her heart is still heavy. It's been 2 weeks since she walked away from Jacob Lewis, since his betrayal about the land deal shattered the trust they'd built. She's tried to move on, throwing herself into her work and her family, but the ache of losing him lingers. Every time she sees the bench where they talked, or the cafe where they shared suya, her chest tightens. She tells herself she's better off without him, but a part of her misses the man who made her feel seen. Jacob, meanwhile, is a man on a mission. He's still in Lagos, having delayed his return to New York indefinitely. The fallout with Kate has changed him in ways he never expected. For the first time, he's questioning not just his actions, but who he is. He spent his life building Lewis's crunch, chasing success to fill the void left by his broken childhood. But Kate showed him something more, a connection, a purpose beyond profit. Losing her has made him realize he can't go back to the man he was, not if he wants to be someone worthy of her. He's been working tirelessly to undo the damage of the land deal. He's fired the executives who pushed the shady negotiations, hired a new team to renegotiate with the villages, and committed to fair compensation and community support. He's even started a fund to help displaced families, using his own money, not just the company's. It's a start, but he knows it's not enough to win Kate back. She didn't just want him to fix the problem. She wanted him to see her, to understand her world. And that's what he's determined to do. Today, Jacob returns to the market, his heart pounding. He's not sure if Kate will even talk to him, but he has to try. He finds her at her stall, her head bent over a necklace she's stringing. She looks tired, but her strength still shines through, the same fire that drew him to her from the start. He takes a deep breath and steps forward. "Kate," he says, his voice soft but steady. She looks up, her eyes widening, then narrowing. "What are you doing here?" she asks, her tone cold. "I thought I made myself clear." "You did," Jacob says, his hands raised in a gesture of peace. "But I couldn't leave without trying to make this right. Not just the land deal, everything." Kate crosses her arms, her expression guarded. "You can't fix what's broken with words, Jacob. Not this time." "I know," he says, stepping closer. "That's why I'm not just talking. I've stopped the land deal. We're renegotiating with the villages, fair prices, no forced evictions. I've set up a fund to help families like yours, to make sure they're not left with nothing. It's not perfect, and it doesn't erase what happened, but I'm trying to do better. Because of you." Kate's eyes flicker with surprise, but she doesn't soften. "You think that's enough? You think throwing money at it makes you a hero?" "No," Jacob says, his voice raw. "I'm not a hero. I'm a man who made a mistake, a big one. I didn't see the people behind the deal, and I hurt you. I hurt your village. I'll carry that for the rest of my life. But I'm here because I want to be better, Kate. For you, for me, for everyone I've let down." Kate looks away, her jaw tight. She wants to believe him, but the hurt is still fresh. "Why should I trust you?" she asks. "You hid the truth once. How do I know you won't do it again?" Jacob takes a step closer, his eyes locked on hers. "You don't. Not yet. But I'm asking for a chance to prove it. Not with my money or my company, but with me. I love you, Kate. I meant it when I said it, and I mean it now. I'm not asking you to forgive me today. I'm asking you to let me show you I've changed." His words hit her hard, stirring the feelings she's tried to bury. She looks at him, seeing the man who's been coming to her stall for months, who listened to her stories, who made her laugh. But she also sees the man whose world nearly took hers apart. The conflict tears at her, and she feels the weight of her own pride, her fear of being hurt again. "I don't know if I can do this," she says, her voice barely above a whisper. "I let you in once, and it broke me. I can't go through that again." Jacob's heart aches, but he nods. "I know I hurt you, and I know I don't deserve your trust. But I'm not going anywhere, Kate. I'm staying in Lagos until you believe me, or until you tell me to leave for good." Kate's eyes glisten, but she blinks back the tears. "You don't belong here, Jacob. Your life is in New York, with your company, your world. What are you going to do? Give it all up? Jacob takes a deep breath, his decision made. If that's what it takes, yes. I've spent my life chasing success, but it's empty without you. I'm not saying I'm walking away from everything. I'm saying I'm willing to change it. For us. Kate stares at him, stunned. She's never heard anyone talk like this, never seen someone willing to sacrifice so much. But her pride, her fear, holds her back. You don't know what you're saying, she says. You don't know what it means to live my life, to struggle like I do. Then show me, Jacob says, his voice urgent. Let me learn. Let me be part of your world, not just a visitor. I'm not asking for everything, Kate. I'm asking for a chance. The market hums around them, but for Kate, the world narrows to this moment. She sees the sincerity in his eyes, the way he's standing there, vulnerable in a way she never thought he could be. Her heart wants to believe him, but her mind screams for caution. She's fought so hard to protect herself, to stand on her own. Letting him back in feels like risking everything. Kate, Jacob says softly, I know I don't deserve you. But I'm here, and I'm not giving up. Not unless you tell me to. She looks at him, her heart pounding. I need time, she says finally. I can't just trust you again. Not yet. Jacob nods, a flicker of hope in his eyes. Take all the time you need. I'll be here. Over the next week, Jacob keeps his word. He shows up at the market, not to pressure her, but to help, carrying her baskets, talking to customers, learning the rhythm of her world. He visits her village, meeting with elders to discuss the new land deal, listening to their concerns. He's not perfect, he stumbles, makes mistakes, but he's trying and Kate sees it. One evening as the market closes, Kate finds herself watching him. He's helping a vendor stack crates, his shirt stained with sweat, his hands dirty. He's not the polished O anymore. He's just Jacob, a man trying to make things right. And for the first time, she feels a shift inside her, a softening of the walls she's built. Jacob, she calls, her voice steady but soft. He turns, his face lighting up. Yeah. She steps closer, her eyes searching his. I'm not saying I'm ready to forgive you. I see what you're doing. And it means something. Jacob's smile is small, but it's real. That's all I'm asking for, Kate. A start. They stand there, the market quieting around them, and for the first time in weeks, Kate feels a glimmer of hope. Jacob has sacrificed his pride, his control, to show her he's serious. And Kate, in her own way, is starting to let go of her fear. They're not healed, not yet, but they're taking the first steps toward something new, a love that's not just about passion, but about trust and sacrifice. The Lagos market is alive with its usual energy, but today feels different for Kate Ben. The sun is high, casting a warm glow over her stall, where her jewelry sparkles on a colorful cloth. It's been a month since Jacob Lewis stood before her, promising to make things right, to prove he was more than the man who broke her trust. Since then he's kept his word, showing up every day, not as the billionaire CEO of Lewis's Crunch, but as a man trying to earn her heart. Kate's pride and caution still linger, but the walls around her heart are softer now, worn down by his persistence and the changes she's seen in him. Today, though, she's nervous. They've agreed to meet, to talk about what comes next, and Kate knows this moment will define their future. Jacob walks through the market, his steps lighter than they've been in weeks. He's still in Lagos, his life in New York on hold as he works to rebuild what he nearly lost. He's changed the way Lewis's crunch operates in Nigeria, ensuring the new factory supports local communities rather than displacing them. He's met with Kate's village elders, listened to their stories, and committed to building a school as part of the company's investment. It's not just about fixing his mistakes. It's about becoming someone Kate can trust, someone who sees her world not as a business opportunity, but as a home. He's not sure if she's ready to forgive him fully, but he's ready to fight for her, no matter how long it takes. Kate spots him approaching, and her heart skips. He's wearing a simple shirt, his sleeves rolled up, looking more like a man who belongs here than the polished CEO she first met. She takes a deep breath, steadying herself. She spent her life standing strong, relying on herself, but loving Jacob means letting go of some of that control. It's terrifying, but it's also exhilarating. "Kate," Jacob says, stopping at her stall, his voice warm but cautious. "You look beautiful." She rolls her eyes, but a smile tugs at her lips. "You say that every time you see me." "Because it's true every time," he replies, his eyes steady on hers. "Can we talk? Somewhere quiet?" Kate nods, her stomach twisting with nerves. She asks a neighboring vendor to watch her stall and leads Jacob to a small bench near the edge of the market, where the noise fades to a soft hum. They sit, the space between them filled with unspoken questions. "I've been thinking," Kate starts, her voice steady but soft. "About us. About what you've done these past weeks. The way you've listened, the way you've tried to make things right. It's not just about the land or the village, it's about you. I see you trying, Jacob, and it means something." Jacob's heart lifts, but he stays quiet, letting her speak. He's learned to listen, to give her the space she needs. "But I'm scared," Kate continues, her eyes dropping to her hands. "I've always taken care of myself, my family. Letting you in means trusting you won't hurt me again. And I don't know if I'm ready for that." Jacob nods, his chest tight. "I know I hurt you, Kate. And I know trust isn't something I can demand. It's something I have to earn. I'm here every day because I want to be the man you deserve. Not the CEO, not the billionaire, just me." Kate looks at him, her eyes searching his. "And what happens when you go back to New York? Your life is there. Your company, your world. I can't leave my family, my home. How do we make this work?" Jacob takes a deep breath, his decision clear. "I've been thinking about that too. I'm not going back to New York, not the way I was. I've handed over most of my day-to-day responsibilities at Lewis's Crunch to a new team. I'm staying in Lagos, at least for now. I want to build something here, not just a factory, but a life. With you, if you'll have me." Kate's breath catches, her eyes wide. "You're staying?" "Jacob, your whole life is in America. You can't just give that up." "I'm not giving it up," he says, his voice firm. "I'm choosing something better. You showed me what matters, Kate. People, connection, love. I've spent my life chasing success, but it's nothing compared to this. Compared to you." Kate's heart pounds, her emotions swirling. She spent so long protecting herself, but Jacob's words, his actions, are breaking through. "You're serious," she says, almost to herself. "You're really willing to change your life for this?" "For you," Jacob corrects, his voice soft but certain. "I love you, Kate. Not because of some fantasy or adventure, but because you make me want to be better. You challenge me, you see me, And I want to build a future with you, here, in your world, in ours. Tears prick Kate's eyes, but she doesn't hide them this time. She reaches for his hand, her fingers trembling as they intertwine with his. I love you too, she says, her voice breaking. I didn't want to. I fought it so hard. But I do. Jacob's face lights up, a smile spreading as he squeezes her hand. That's all I needed to hear. They sit there, hands clasped, the market fading into the background. For the first time, they feel like equals, not a billionaire and a market vendor, but two people who've chosen each other despite the odds. The gap between their worlds is still there, but they've built a bridge, piece by piece, through trust, sacrifice, and love. Over the next few weeks, Jacob and Kate start to build that future together. Jacob moves into a modest apartment in Lagos, closer to Kate's world than his old life of penthouses and private jets. He works with her village, ensuring the school is built and the families are supported. Kate, meanwhile, opens her heart a little more each day, letting Jacob into her life, her family, her home, her dreams. She introduces him to Mama Gozi and Henry, who are wary at first but warm to him as they see his commitment. Henry even jokes that Jacob's terrible at peeling yams, but he's trying, and that counts for something. One evening, they walk through Kate's village, the place where she grew up. The air is cool, the stars bright above. Jacob holds her hand, and Kate feels a peace she hasn't known in years. I used to dream of leaving here, she says, looking at the familiar dirt paths. But now, I think I just wanted to feel like I belonged somewhere. You belong with me, Jacob says, stopping to face her. And I belong with you, wherever that is. Kate smiles, her heart full. You're learning, Jacob Lewis. He laughs, pulling her close. I've got the best teacher. They kiss under the starlit sky, a moment that feels like a promise. Their love isn't perfect, it's messy, built on hard-won trust and sacrifices, but it's real. They've faced their differences, their fears, and come out stronger. Jacob's wealth and Kate's pride no longer define them. Instead, it's their shared commitment to each other, to building a life where they both belong. As they walk back to the village, hand in hand, Kate knows she's not just a market girl anymore. She's a woman who's found love on her own terms. And Jacob, no longer the distant CEO, is a man who's found a home in her heart. Their worlds, once so far apart, have merged into something new, something equal, something lasting. This is the end of Jacob and Kate's story, a love that overcame betrayal, bridged worlds, and found strength in mutual respect. They've fought for each other, sacrificed for each other, and now they stand together, ready for whatever comes next. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. We'll meet in the next video.